Hey everyone.
And welcome back to Dwayne and Edie of Food, Travel, and Fun. Today we're going to go and have lunch at a place we've never eaten at that everybody says is good.
Well, that's the idea, right? Isn't it us usually trying to go new places?
Yes. We're going to Missing Link BBQ in Somerset. And for those of you from the area, you probably remember there was a restaurant in a railway car called the Railway Cafe. I think we went there for breakfast a long time ago. But anyway, the Missing Link BBQ, which was originally somewhere in Swansea, I heard, moved into that railway car, I think sometime last year. And we're going to go give it a try. I like barbecue. I think you're not as big a barbecue fan, but
I'm okay.
they seem to have quite a bit of things to try. I heard they have a smoker out back, but anyway, we have a lot of time to show you everything. I'm going to walk you through the menu. We're also going to review and taste different things on the menu. So we're going to take you with us, and we'll see you at the Missing Link railway car.
Yeah, we're almost there.
We're almost there. All right. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to have to switch to voiceover. It is a train car. It is small, and it was very loud. The audio was just not cutting it. So this is just a shot of the inside of the car where we sat, and the window you just saw was actually, if you go back and rewind it, you can see the smoker right outside. Now we decided on a couple of things right away. We were going to try the sliced brisket. We were going to try the baby back ribs. We were going to try something called not dogs. The meats, we decided to make it a platter so we can try some sides. And we knew we were ordering a lot, but we really wanted to give this stuff a try. Very quickly, the not dogs were delivered. We chose to make these not dogs sort of an appetizer. Not dogs are actually a pulled pork blended with some type of aioli and served in a bun hot dog style with toppings. Different toppings, just like you would add to different hot dog types. We did get some grilled corn on the side, and of course these plates and platters come with their house-made pickles and their coleslaw. So here's Dwayne giving it a try. The grilled corn is actually quite smoky. It's not like the Mexican street corn. It does not have that Mexican street corn spice blend or any of the cotija cheese or anything like that. The not dogs we chose were the Coney Island not dogs, and these not dogs were topped with chopped diced onion and their Carolina mustard vinegar-based sauce. And it also has a healthy dollop of chili. So they're very Coney Island-ish and served up like a hot dog would. 2 of these not dogs are served per order, which I thought was quite generous. A word on the coleslaw. It's really good. It reminds me of the, and this is not an insult at all, it's actually a compliment. It reminds me of the KFC type coleslaw, but in bigger chunks. The KFC one is all ground up. This had a nice buttermilk type flavor. It had enough salt, pepper, celery salt, and everything you'd expect. Their pickles were not dill. Their pickles were actually almost bread and butter sweet type to my palate. So here's Wayne going in. And again, pulled pork can go either really right or really wrong. And by really right, I mean juicy, tender. And this was just that. I've had pulled pork that was so dry, I've had to drench it in sauce and mix it all up so that it was palatable. One thing I will say is this was just so tender, so soft. The meat was just so well cooked. It had that smoky essence that one would expect from a good barbecue. And now it's my turn. So I went for the corn first. Just so people know, they do not have a full liquor license, but they do have beer, wine, canned cocktails, and I ordered some vodka grape infusion type thing, or Asian fusion. I think it's a mix of vodka with ginger beer. It was just okay. It really wasn't grape flavored enough for me. I did like the corn very much. And the pickles, though, I'm not a dill pickle person. I like dill pickles. They're fine in burgers and sandwiches and things. But I much prefer that little bit of sweetness that you get from the bread and butter. You can see on my face that I like the pickles. Very good. And again, we ordered this sort of plate as an appetizer to kind of give us a sense of the type of barbecue we would be eating. I'd also like to note at this time that we really haven't gone to a barbecue place that's local. Most of the true barbecues I've ever been to have been in other states: Texas, Arkansas, South Carolina, North Carolina. In my travels, in our travels I should say, we've eaten at barbecue places. The real barbecue places, just like this one is. This has a smoker out back, a pit master. They've been around for a while. Initially they were, I think, a food truck and their smokers and just outdoor seating in Swansea, but they did take over this train car in Somerset probably in the last year or two. You can get a sense of the interior. You're very close to your neighbors, and each of the booth seating areas can only accommodate 4 people. So if you do have a party of more than 4 people, you can sit at different booths, but you will not be served together. That's just the way it is, folks. There is an outdoor seating area, though, where I think I got a shot of it at the beginning of the video, and that's probably much more accommodating to bigger parties. And that was our appetizer. Okay, so next up, Dwayne got the cheesesteak. It comes with chips. Again, the coleslaw, pickles. I got those are brisket. And I also got a quarter rack of baby back ribs with some mac and cheese. We chose chili for the side here. These platters are served with a slice of potato bread. There's the ribs, with a dry rub on them. Dwayne decided to dig into his cheesesteak first. Not an ordinary cheesesteak, not at all. This cheesesteak is filled with what I will call pit beef, sliced very, very thin. It is served with grilled onions, and it does have a cheese sauce. But I will say, when I got to the point where it was my turn to taste it, I was really amazed at the bread. Now, Dwayne is a cheesesteak connoisseur. He orders it where he sees it on the menu. It's like the equivalent of his ceviche for different restaurant menus. If he sees the cheesesteak, he's probably going to order it. He was really impressed with the meat. And it's quite a large serving. I mean, obviously we had other food to choose from and choose to eat, but look at that. It was pretty big. And again, they do offer the coleslaw with the pickles as a complimentary side with most sandwiches, and they're very, very generous with it. Here I am taking a taste of the cheesesteak. I also do like cheesesteak. This didn't taste like a traditional cheesesteak. It didn't taste like the kind that you would get in Philadelphia or that you'd get in most pubs and places around where you order sandwiches. It was really an elevated cheesesteak because the meat was so elevated. The meat melted in your mouth. You practically didn't have to chew it. It was that good. And of course, we have to move on because we have much more coming. So we did say, as we took bites of the cheesesteak sandwich, that that would be something we would definitely order again and probably will. So next up, Dwayne's going to try some of the brisket. Look at the bark. Look at the layer of fat. And more importantly, look how juicy. So the first taste, he's dipping it. That is a Texan spicy barbecue sauce. It's really good. And that brisket was absolutely delicious, very tender, very juicy. It had just the right amount of fat under that bark layer. That bark layer and that smoke ring was evident. Whoever is smoking this stuff out in the smoking area or in the pit is doing a good job. Next up was the chili. It was a different kind of chili. When I first tasted it, it was less tomatoey and more meaty. It had more meat and very few beans. It definitely had a spice blend that had a significant amount of both cumin and garlic and the typical other spices that you would expect in chili, but balanced in a slightly different way. Maybe because it was less watery and more meaty and a little more bold in terms of the spice blend. At first I was like, oh, I'm not sure if this is the kind of chili I like. But I went back for a second and a third and a fourth bite, as Dwayne is doing here, and we both did end up saying, wow, that's a really good chili. Really good chili. And in fact, we ended up bringing a lot of that side of chili home, and we're going to put it on hot dogs tonight for dinner. Very good. And we still have more food to try. So we're shifting the plates around again. And this time I'm going in for the rib. First, no sauce. That is a side of the Carolina style, which is really a mustard vinegar based sauce. Look at how it just came off the bone. Really, really well cooked. The spice rub was excellent. One thing I did notice is, I like bold flavors, and typically I find things under seasoned at most restaurants these days. Didn't have to add anything to the seasoning on these meats. No salt, no extra pepper, nothing like that. That's the sign of a true good spice rub and someone who really knows what they're doing to get the right flavors out of the meat, especially as the meat is being slow smoked in the back. So the ribs were very, very good. Next up, the mac and cheese. And again, you can't be perfect with everything. This mac and cheese was absolutely acceptable. The macaroni was cooked perfectly. It wasn't mushy. It wasn't hard. The cheese blend is good. It needed a little salt and pepper for me, and it wasn't quite as cheesy as some different recipes that I've had in other places, but it was perfectly acceptable. Although I will say the mac and cheese I ended up eating a little bit later that day as a leftover, and it actually got better. So definitely a good side, solid side. I'm just a sucker for mac and cheese. There's just something so comforting about it. I do like my mac and cheese either with a cavatappi shell, the cavatappi spiral type of macaroni, or with those shells with the cheese stays and kind of nestles inside of the shell. Dwayne's turn. Here's a close-up of that rib. Yep, you can see the bark on it, the smoke ring, the spice blend. They'll go in for the rib first with no sauce. Take a couple of bites. Yep, he was liking it. And again, we're not picky people. We like everything. I probably like barbecue and barbecue sauces and that type of cuisine more than Dwayne does, but he really enjoyed the food that he got here at Missing Link. Here he is trying the vinegar and mustard. I thought he was really going to love this sauce because he's a mustard person. But no, he ended up liking the spicy Texan. And you know what? I think I like the spicy Texan more as well. I've had other Carolina sauces that were less mustardy. Maybe this one is more mustard forward. But I do like them both. And I think there's a place for both on a menu. But that spicy barbecue was really good because it was just a hint of sweetness, and I typically don't like very sweet barbecue sauces. And again, here's a close-up of the brisket. I love that charred, burnt side of it. And another close-up of the ribs. Dwayne's turn to try the mac and cheese. Again, he is not a mac and cheese man. He kind of said the same things that I did, that he prefers the cavatappi shape and the small shells, but he also enjoyed this mac and cheese. I really appreciated the fact that the noodles were not overcooked. Whoever made this mac and cheese knew what they were doing. They know how to not overcook the pasta. And these are elbows that you can get those waterlogged very, very quickly. Really good. Here we are bagging up all the leftovers. We had a ton of leftover food. Leftover coleslaw, chili, ribs, brisket, half of his sandwich. There was a lot left over. And shockingly, the bill for all of that food without the tip was $88 or so.
We just had lunch at Missing Link. What do you think, Dwayne?
It was awesome. Everything was good. I mean,
Yeah, I was saying
really,
to Dwayne, I don't think I've ever eaten at a barbecue place here in Massachusetts.
I haven't in a long time.
Okay.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I've eaten at the place in Dartmouth.
Oh, okay.
I've eaten it, you know,
Trying to find the angle here. So
but that was a long time ago.
this was great barbecue. Everything was well seasoned. Everything was nicely smoked. The bark and the dry rubs were on point. But the best part is that the meat was so tender. Nice juicy cuts of meat. Well prepared.
Really well. I really liked how the smoky came through, and so they really come through on everything. So
I would say my favorite, the brisket was amazing. Your pit beef slash
my cheesesteak.
cheesesteak was awesome.
Yeah.
The coleslaw is delicious. I loved their pickles. They are on the sweeter side. They're not quite dill. They were like a bread and butter kind
They're
of
like
thing.
a bread and butter. Yeah.
They were yummy. I really enjoyed the chili, which initially I was kind of like, ooh, this is a little much, whatever the seasoning was. And then with each bite, it got better.
No, I didn't. First bite, I liked it right off the bat. So the chili was great.
And pulled pork, in my mind, can go one way or another depending on how dry it is. This one was not dry.
Yeah.
Really, really good. We ended up spending a little over $80, and we have about half our order to go.
Yeah, we brought about half of it home for sure.
Yeah. I recommend this place, and it's getting very, very busy. And in fact, we came for lunch. We got here fairly early, right before 12. And now it's like people are outside eating, which in this 90-degree heat.
Yeah, and they're still coming in. So they're still.
You can see the guy running the smoker, poor guy outside in this heat, filling up his arms with wood and bringing it into the smoker. So they know what they're doing here.
Yeah, that was excellent. So
Shout out to all of you cooking and barbecuing for us, and shout out to our server who was excellent. And we'll catch you on another video soon.
yeah, so
Thanks again.
Dwayne and Nadia, Food Travel Fun. Until next time, remember, subscribe, tell your friends, and we'll be here.
We'll see you next.
See you then.